Welcome to the Cool Down, where we talk with Go Long Studios owner Kevin Massey. We've got Pablo back there, and we're going to talk about the episode with John Martin III. Before we do, a shout out to our first and initial sponsor.
Yes, sir.
Weimer's Insurance, the largest independent insurance agent on the west side. By the way, literally today, so I can give him a shout out. I was paying $11,000 insurance on one of the buildings that my wife and I had. And David basically said, dude, you were getting just hosed. Guess what price he got us on this building?
How much did he save you?
How much did he save? But no, you got to guess.
11,000 to maybe 5,500? Lower?
Lower.
Wow.
$3,800 to $4,000.
Dang.
We're going to save $6,000 just because we let him. He quoted us last year and he was lower, but we couldn't switch. We were too late.
Yeah.
So, I mean, get on it early. So give Weimer's Insurance a call. Our first sponsor. We're excited about having them.
Same. Yeah, no, it's very exciting. It's very good to see that we've got believers, we've got supporters.
We have a lot of viewers, too. We're approaching 100,000. We've only been doing this a short period of time.
Let's go. Yeah. I love it. Right. I love it. That means we're talking on good topics.
Right.
I mean, believe it or not, real estate's a subject that people are interested in.
Right. So, it's funny. So the guest we're going to talk about, John Martin III, incredible. I consider him, from what I saw, just
long-time friend of mine, and it was you guys' first time to meet.
Yeah, just a lord of, he really goes into things like the Donald Trump. When he goes into an investment, he looked at, hey, could it make a short-term rental? Yes. But if it doesn't work, I can go long-term rental. And if that doesn't work, I'll just
rehab and flip it,
sell it. He goes into every deal with 3 exit strategies, and I love that.
I mean, so did I, and that was like, he does a lot of things in the reverse, in the reverse way of he looks at things backwards, and he's had such great success with it. And what I love about the whole thing is I've known John now for over a decade, right? And I haven't gotten to see this side of him where. We've talked real estate, we've talked deals, but understanding and learning about his portfolio, but all the trials and tribulations he'd been through, and then speaking to another peer to where he's in his element. And it was fun to see you two guys because
he was fun.
And I got to tell the camera this, but I think we had to kick him out of the studio at that point because they were just still talking and nerding out about it, and it was fun to see.
I might invest in a bank with him. I love it. We had fun. Yeah.
And then that's the cool thing is that when you get two people passionate about something, and you just love to see the energy in the room, and I think that the room is bursting with it. But how his philosophies are in a lot of things.
He is so different than me. I'm much more conservative. I generally like to operate from a more cash basis. He's willing to leverage a little more than me.
He bets on himself.
He bets on himself a lot.
And more people should do that, to be honest.
By the way, which probably makes him worth a lot more than me. But he is a very adventurous investor. He will take chances, but he takes chances on what he knows. The best thing to me about investing in real estate, I tell people, so I was just talking to a guy today who lost $400,000.
Yep.
And he lost $400,000 because he bet on a business, they declared bankruptcy, and he lost it. But when you buy real estate, if it burns down, it's insured.
Yes.
You're smart, right? You still own the land under it, even if it burns down and you're not insured.
Yep.
Right? But if you own a piece of property, you can go touch it. You can feel it. You can taste it. You'll know it's there. Someone else can pay it off for you.
It's a tangible asset that you can, like you said, the touches and feels.
Now, is it as liquid as some other things? No. But it also can't go to zero as easy.
Nope.
You can buy insurance for that stuff, man.
You can. And that's the other thing is, he bets on himself. He stuck with it, and, he would double down in certain instances,
so much smarter than me.
But, I think it's because the reason he has the confidence to, leverage, bet on himself is because of his systems. His systems that he puts in place. And like you said, if it doesn't work. Systems, partners, and knowing which partner to go to for what deal. Right?
One thing that's really interesting to me, he and I were talking, he goes, well, I have a construction company. So my first thought is, this guy's handier than me. I always tell people, I can change out a ceiling fan. I shouldn't, but I can. I can paint a room, but I can pay my brother-in-law, who's much better at both of those than me, to do it. So my general theory was I can't own a construction company because I'm not actually any good at construction. And he's like, well, neither am I.
Yeah.
I just owned a construction company, and he has a partner that he went in with that is good at construction.
Back to what we always say: know your strengths, hire to your weaknesses. He just partners with it, and he wants equity because he sees opportunity.
He owns boats too. He's not a boat captain.
I know. Have
you been out on his boats?
Oh man. So John, when I first started, and this is the other thing, John was one of my initial first supporters of my, venture. Once I sold the food company, and I'm like, okay, what's next? And he was one of the first ones that found out about the sale, but then called me and said, can you come out and take some photos and some videos of the boats? And while we're out there, maybe you can, give me some freshened up photos for his STRs out in Galveston.
Nice.
So, he had the confidence in me.
He bet on you.
He bet on me. And so, when people bet on you, you don't want to do one thing. What's that? You don't want to let them down.
No.
By the way, I have to go back to this. So you know how to change fans?
Yeah, he endears.
Can you come to my house and change the fan? That
no, you don't want me. He endears loyalty. You can just talk to him.
100%.
Oh my
100%.
Yeah.
But where I, he's a partner with me and my brother's company, and when, John. And it's funny because when we brought it to him, I brought it to him and one of my other partners, and John was like, I think the market's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And he's like, well, but what these guys are doing, they're building, second homes for people out in the country. A lot of them are going to be doing a draw based versus loan based. Right. And he's like, screw it, let's go.
Right.
And we're both thinking ourselves that one, gave my brother the confidence, because I told my brother about his company. I said, dude, I perform better when I'm backed into a corner.
Right.
And that's what John's the same exact way. Right. And, convincing my brother was like, take the chance, walk away from the comfort and the,
So your brother had a day job. He wasn't ready to go out and start his company yet.
No.
That is scary. Like giving up I've been there, giving up the benefits, the company car, all that stuff.
Yeah. It's a gamble, but I mean, entrepreneurship isn't for the faint of heart, right?
It's not.
But you do want to have that confidence to be able to bet on yourself.
Right. I want to look at the camera and say this: like, people get caught up because I've made $200,000 in a month before, which I have. Mm-hmm. I've also lost $60K in a month before.
Yeah,
and it's not a roller coaster for everybody. But if you can, on the month you're up 200, not spend it all and be ready for the month you go down 60, this is for you.
Well, and I tell everybody this, what was your best month? What was your worst month? Okay. Plan like every month is your worst month,
and you'll be fine.
And you'll live comfortable.
You will. Absolutely.
But the one thing that John had, was, I really want to touch on this, even though it's down here. You may cut me off before I get to it, so I'm staying it now.
No.
It reminded me of that episode in Landman where, John Hamm's sitting in the hospital.
Great show.
And Jerry's telling him,
men die, oil companies don't.
Exactly. But he said, you want to know what? He's like, I was moving, I went out to California to be close to my daughter in school. So I was like, I'll just buy some land. We can build a house there.
Jerry Jones, by the way.
Yeah. But he goes, I struck oil. But you know what? Every single one of my family members was a part of my business. Right. And it's because he said, people that go to your funeral, it's family and business associates, sometimes, but whatever. He goes, they're in both categories. And you spend most of your time on your business. But now that I'm spending most of my time with my family while we're having success together, it's nothing more important. And John's the third, right? He started in real estate just before he even graduated college, just working around the house or working at the office with mom.
His dad's his broker.
His dad's his broker. It's a family business.
Right. His mom's in the business, right? His mom was successful.
His mother was very successful. Right. She still goes to work every day.
Wow.
And when we were here last, and when John was recording, his wife and my wife, we went out to talk about, or we just went to go have drinks down the street at Pearl and Vine. Right. Shout out. But it was fun because she got to talk to Lo about the whole new job, life role that she was about to walk into, and giving her that confidence and saying, we feel much better and feel more achieved because we're working together as a team.
Yeah, and John bragged about his wife, like you and I do a lot. I married the right girl. That makes everything else easier.
No,
John
it does.
Definitely did,
and
right?
I mean, and I think the reason why is because one, she's this accountability partner, aka calls him out on his bullshit.
Right.
But two, she's there to prop him up too. And that's really what it is all about is, you got to go find, people go find mentors, go find accountability partners because they're the ones that are going to knock you down the peg. They're the ones that are also going to be your biggest cheerleader when you do have your successes, but keep you humble.
So as a side hustle, I write novels, and there's one guy that, there are actually two people one female, one male, that I could send my book to, and they would beat it up, and I could beat up their book, and their goal was to make my book better. And there's one guy who wrote a book, and he asked me for feedback, and I gave my honest feedback, and he's basically like, who are you to give me feedback? And he really got hurt, and the product that he put out was a terrible product, and the product that these other two people put out, because they were taking tough feedback, was such better books.
And he was looking for the ones that were like, he wanted the attaboys and the great job, but you're a friend.
Right.
I'm going to give you honest feedback.
Right. When people ask me for feedback, I ask them, am I just here to validate your opinion, or do you honestly want feedback? Because those are two different roles.
Yes.
Right. And if you need me to validate your opinion and just tell me that you want me to do that, sure, we can move on. I mean, it's not real.
Let me know what arena I'm walking into first here.
But do you really want valid feedback? Because if you have people that are willing to give you valid, tough feedback, especially if they're your spouse, that's a powerful thing. And my wife is willing and able to give me valid, tough feedback, and it's phenomenal.
It really is. And that they're just so important for that feedback, that they're not trying to hurt your feelings. They're trying to just get the best out of you.
Make you better, yeah.
So, but you have to go back in retrospect and have that humility to accept that criticism and that feedback. It's tough. If you can't, then you know what? Don't put yourself out there.
Yeah, it's funny. When I ask for feedback, I tell people I literally want to be better than I am, and I'm not asking you to tell me I'm doing a good job. I give them permission. Like, I am giving you permission to tell me what I'm doing wrong. And then after they do that, the following day, I call them back and I say, thank you for being tough on me.
Yep.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. So that way, the next time you ask them, they don't think you're all butthurt. You can be butthurt, but you can't let it show.
You can't, and you gotta take it. You asked for it. Why, just be ready for it, right?
Right.
The other thing, on top of that, real estate being it can be a family business if you wanted to, but when you guys were covering the Section 8 product, and I'm excited about that because
that was fun. Yeah,
it's a great opportunity. It's got its own. It fits where it fits.
It's a separate business model. It's not one I do, but John's very successful with it, and a lot of people are.
Yeah, but he had two good points, and I think it crossovers into every segment of real estate. Be a good landlord,
right?
And you're going to have shitty tenants in every space too,
right?
So that was, you were telling me a story.
Yeah, you don't have to be a Section 8 tenant to be a bad tenant. I've had bad tenants in luxury homes, and I've had good tenants in some of my worst homes.
Yeah.
The story I told you, right?
Well, then that was what exactly I'm talking about. You were like, yeah. And I say I correlate it with, if you take care of them, they're going to take care of you. But look at the costs of savings of you having that one tenant for 20 years.
I had one tenant in one building 20 years. My wife and I, 20 years.
Yeah, but just think about if you had 10 tenants over that time, how much more it would have cost you to, new carpet, new fresh paint, fresh layer of paint, application fees, credit checks, all the property management stuff that goes along with it. That's just a headache, right?
I think when you really look at it, I want to kind of end close. And I'm not saying we're ending yet, close to where we started. So when John looks at a project, he looks at it like, again, Donald Trump. Again, what you think about him politically, the book, The Art of the Deal, great book. Donald Trump goes, I don't go into any deal without 3 exit strategies. John does that. And I'm so proud of him. And I'm one thing my wife and I are good at, we don't go into anything where we don't know our exit strategies.
Yeah. Well, and that really is him being so adamant about having those good exit strategies or systems. They organically pushed him into certain opportunities or certain segments of real estate. So he's like, okay, if this is going to be my exit strategy or one of them, I need to learn it, and so I'm going to, and that was great. He was like, if it doesn't work as an STR, we'll do a long-term lease. Right. If it doesn't work as a long-term lease, what are we going to do? Right. And so, that kind of goes into one of his philosophies of never selling and refi. Right. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So
people are going to have different opinions.
So there's a couple real advantages to refi. So I am a big fan of paying I pay some things off. I like to pay things off. I get tired of dealing with banks sometimes. I'm lazy. I just don't like to, hey, we want more paperwork. I'll just pay it off, right? But there are some real negatives to paying things off. Mm-hmm. Some real advantages of continuing to refinance out. Like you said, it's
that goes with taxes, right?
Right. It's a tax-free loan. Mm-hmm. It is when you refinance out, you're taking money out of your building tax-free. Now, you're paying interest on it now, sure, but your tenant's paying that, right? So there's a whole lot of landlords that will never pay off any building. They'll get to 80% paid off. They'll refinance 60% out. They get to 80%. They finance 60% out, and they just keep pulling money out of the same buildings again and again and again. It's
an annuity at that point.
Right. John does it better than anybody. I'm not as aggressive with it, and I should be. The other advantage, and again, I'm not a lawyer. I had a lawyer tell me this. The other advantage of continually pulling money out, it's harder to sue on something that has a lot of debt on it because the bank's got to protect you than it is something that's paid off. Like, it's harder to get sued because you have a partner in the bank. Yeah. Right. So I'm not saying that's right, by the way, for attorneys. You can comment and tell me I'm wrong.
Yes.
But I literally had a lawyer say the advantage of continuing to refinance out is it's harder for people to sue you because you got the bank on your side for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And so that goes to, him also kind of countering that statement with there's a fine line between overspending and oversaving, right? Talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, because you mentioned you answered right now I'm oversaving, Kevin. Right.
Well, the thing that's going down in value quicker than anything else right now is cash.
True. Yeah.
Because of inflation, and again, inflation seems to be a little more under control than it was a few years ago. But still, the thing that's going down in value the fastest is cash. The thing that, in my opinion, goes up in value the most, if you're smart, is a good real estate purchase. Mm-hmm. So you should have more money in real estate. But I'm always tentative to get in a deal that I don't know my way out of. My wife and I are more tentative investors than some people. There's some advantages to that.
Yeah.
But look, John's definitely shown me. Sitting with John, I definitely learned a lot. It was a master's class.
Let's just say y'all's regrets are probably in different spaces.
Right.
Yeah.
John's class was a master class in leveraging smartly. I highly recommend you watch the video just to learn his system to leveraging very smartly.
And it's a whole new outlook to say those that are new in the real estate space because, what do you say? You get into real estate not to sell it, but to buy it, right?
Yeah, so you go back to what Joe Rothschild said is he let himself get over-leveraged. And several podcasts ago, you got to watch that podcast. But one time he let himself really get over-leveraged, but it actually ended up working out when there were some things that happened, and he was able to escape it, and he's never let himself get over-leveraged again. So there's a big difference between leveraging and being over-leveraged.
Correct.
Right.
There is.
But just know the fine line. Your banker will help you with that if they're smart.
Yeah, and with the market being the way it is with, right now interest rates are high. Right. That's not necessarily a negative if you do have liquid.
Cash.
Yeah, if you got cash, you got liquidity. And it was some great points, The
advantage of my plan is when interest rates go up, I can strike when a lot of people can't.
Correct.
Right. So
yeah, and taking advantage of that, knowing where you can eat, and then knowing when to step. Bull and bear, baby, bull and bear.
Absolutely.
But so lastly, I wanted to talk about, and this just seems a common occurrence, and it's staying on top. Because he said a stat that I wasn't surprised, but it was educational. Staying on top of your past customers and referrals because. 90% of buyers forget their realtor's name from 3 years past.
Yep.
So that was something. I mean, again, that's why Shelly's present, but that's where, you guys were talking about like success stories on what worked. With you, it's cupcakes and pies, and theirs is the same kind of concept. It's always touching. And I always tell my, whenever I was in sales leadership, I would say, make sure that you're top of mind.
Right.
And whether you needed to do something with them or you just want to go by to say hi, just make sure you're top of mind. Right. Because they'll call somebody and you just want it to be you.
I literally got a very humbling call. So I got a referral from an agent, and she asked me to call someone, which means I'm paying a referral fee. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh my gosh, if I would have known it was you, I knew to
you'd probably done more deals with him than the person that referred you.
He's like, oh my gosh, I should have just called you directly and not called them. But she was top of mind and I wasn't. And I'm paying her a 25% referral fee.
And you say, did you not get my cupcake last year, brother?
Right. By the way, Pablo's putting up the subscribe button right now.
Yes.
So just hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
Follow us.
Subscribe button. Look into. We'll post in our in the comments section the captions of the Weimer Insurance Agency too. Give them a look. If you're a fuddy-duddy like Tim and paying double what you should.
Almost triple. And go watch the
I gave you a little credit. I said double.
Go watch the John Martin episode. It is fantastic.
It's great. We'll see y'all in a couple weeks.
Peace out.